Hey Leo, these are your 2025 predictions. Let's get started. I'm going to pull 12 cards and we're going to start off with you, Leo, King, Queen, and then we're going to go around the circle and choose 12 cards. So the first card we're going to choose is going to be for you, Leo, and it's the first house of the self. Okay, I'm going to go all along the 12 houses. Okay. Wow, you got the World in the second house. Fantastic. Make sure that we can see all of them. Okay. And then the 12th house. Alrighty. Let's see what we got going on. Leo. Okay. Leo. Look. Leo's right there. Okay, so Leo, the first house is a house of self. It's the first house of your identity. It's the first house of this is where people see you, how you approach the world, you know, how people see you. It's your brain structure. It's who you are as a person, you know, your vitality. And so it being in Leo, it's already ruled by the sun, you know, someone who is extremely bright, you know, and radiant. But for the year of 2025, we have this Ace of Wands. And this really shows me like your vitality has a breakthrough. Mars is actually going to be in your sign. And Mars in your sign is extremely dramatic, in my opinion. It can be dramatic in a grand way, where it's able to offer you love and these grand gestures, which is beautiful and making you feel loved and empowered and feeling like you are the queen. But when it's in retrograde, it kind of shows these negative qualities of, you know, abusiveness, you know, aggression, fighting, overindulgence, you know, erratic behavior, different partners, and things of that nature. And so it going in retrograde in the beginning of the year, it kind of gets you to look at your own behavior. You know, Mars can cause us accidents, you know, it's about sharp objects and things of that nature. And we want to be careful when it comes to our children as well when they're playing sports, because Mars and Leo is very good at sports. You know, Mars and Leo is in a pretty good sign because, you know, Aries is ruling over this as well. But in Leo, because it's ruled by the heart, it is a bit more sentimental, you know, a bit more vulnerable. So it gets angered, you know, by things that hit the heart, that hit home. And so, you know, the first house, this is really this year about embracing that creativity, you know, embracing that inner child, embracing the experiences that you have had, you know, up until this day, Leo. And even in the year of 2025, there is this breakthrough, you know, there is this breakthrough in behavior. There is this breakthrough in, you know, who you are as a person and how you're showing up in the world. And is it valuable? You know, is it valuable to me? You know, maybe you're showing up in a more encouraging way, in a more enthusiastic way. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that changes everything around you in the year of 2025. I would say show up in a more encouraging way. You using the qualities of Leo to make everyone feel loved, to make everyone feel as though there is a way out. There is a way to display your inner child with authentic expression. And you're really trying to embody this in the year 2025, or at least starting the year out. And that is only because of Mars being in your sign. In my opinion, this is needed, you know, this is needed to see what needs to go, but to see what's actually being offered to you, Leo, which will be a lot because Mars is a doing sign. So it has things to do. It doesn't need to just sit around, you know what I'm saying? It has things to conquer or things to encounter. And make sure that whatever that you're doing, you're using it in a physical way. If you're upset, exercise. If you're upset, run. If your children are upset, sports. And these things are not easy, right? But you have to do that in order not to cause any type of harm to your heart health, you know? It's a reason to go around for days feeling uncomfortable, because that's what Mars can do. You know, it can bring up this really aggression and fire within the inside. Even Leo can make you feel hot and heated in good ways as well, you know, getting you to do exactly what you need to do. And that's great, because bringing you to the second house, you have the world. The world is yours, Leo. The world is yours because you're already ruled by the sun. The sun shines even when it's alone. The sun shines even when no one notices. Even though I notice, you know, Leo notices. But most people don't notice that little crack, you know, sometimes that the sun does. The sun rises and the sun sets. And so your second house is ruled by Virgo, you know, someone who pays very close attention to detail, but can be a little bit critical of itself. See, Leo is known as a sign of confidence, but sometimes it is in lack, because it uses others to make them feel that sense of confidence. But for the year of 2025, your spirit guides, the astrological forces, they're really asking you to show up as your authentic self and be okay with not being perfect, because that's when the world truly becomes available to you, because you'll stop trying to perfect things and analyze things, and you'll focus more on the healing of things, of what is actually being offered to you, of what you can offer. You know, Virgo is a sign of health, you know, so if your health, as I said, always, you know, play sports, and especially in the year 2025, because Mars is going to be in Leo again, but playing sports, right? Using some type of way to get that out of our body. The second house is about our finances, our self-worth. It is about our values, you know, our loyalty to the home, to the family. It's truly about our materialistic possessions and resources. And those things bring us fulfillment sometimes in our life when we need them. And for the year 2025, just know that the world is yours. Whatever you choose to create, Leo, is truly going to be a blessing for you. And your finances definitely improve when you feel that sense of wholeness. Feeling that sense of wholeness is a little bit difficult when you're talking about Virgo, because they're picking apart. But you must find that within yourself to increase your self-worth, to increase your finances, to increase the possessions that come into your home. They can be anything, but getting out of this root chakra, out of survival mode, and getting into the thriving mode of Virgo, because Virgo is a sign that can heal the world. Virgo is a sign that can transform the world through health, through paying attention to what goes inside of the body, through rebirth and regeneration, you know, to starting anew. And your finances and your self-worth, they align to who you are as a person in the year of 2025. So make sure that you understand, Leo, that the world is yours. So we're in the house of the mind now, and the mind is in Libra. The mind is, the third house is about our communication. You know, the third house is our skills, our development. It is about our mental formulas, early childhood experiences. And the year 2025, actually we have the Chariot here. In the year 2025, you'll be pushed in some sort of direction that displays this determination that you feel about your skills, about your talents, about the things you're good at. And there can be some truth behind it, real truth, you know, and real means to make the decisions that you need to make, because the third house is about choices. You know, it's about what your mind is telling you to say and confirm. And you know, it being in Libra, the choices that you make are always on a scale. It's always like you have to weigh out your pros and cons. But I do feel like when you develop the self-discipline behind your choices in your mind, they're a little bit easier to make. And in my opinion, Leo, whatever we choose to focus our mind on is what expands, is what grows. And knowing that you have the ability to make the right choice, even though it's not always, like, you don't always want to do it, right? But you always have to make the fairest choice, especially when it comes to, you know, the outside world. But even when it comes to settling your own mind, you must tell yourself the truth. You know, even if you lie to others, you cannot lie to your mind. You cannot lie to yourself. I do not suggest this, especially in the year of 2025, because your direction is so clear in the beginning of the year that anything that tries to get in your way and tries to stop you, you know, will be pushed out of the way. But you also want to have that discipline as well. You have to have that self-control within the mind and even within your body, you know, yes, within your body. And so moving on to the fourth house, you know, the fourth house is our emotional landscape. It is our childhood and our mother, our home, you know, our possessions. It is really our deep inner landscape. It's definitely an internal makeup because it's our ancestry, you know, our lineage, some traumas and things that we have picked up. And in the fourth house, it is Scorpio. So these things are running deep, you know, these things are definitely karmic, you know, these things definitely come from the underworld, or I would say from the other side. They definitely come from the cosmos. And, you know, the fourth house, well, the hangman showing up in the fourth house, I do think that there is in the year 2025, a point where you do have to surrender. And you have to surrender those emotions, Leo, that do not drive you. And when I say this because, you know, Leos, they can talk a really, really big game, you know, when it comes to hyping themselves up, boosting up their confidence. But one thing you cannot run from are those emotions and how you truly feel within the heart space, because they will hurt you at the end of the day, right? Because you're ruled by the heart. Everything that you do, you know, needs to do with cardio. Like, you literally have to do cardio. And you have to do it to alleviate those emotional barriers that you feel. There's a new way to look at your ancestry, right? There's a new way to look at your mother. There's a new way to look at the family dynamics and the structures and the traditions that's held within the household. Because this hangman really represents that Christ energy. It represents seeing beyond, you know, things that we see, you know. Believe what you, actually, I can't even get that quote out. But it's more about, like, don't believe always what you see or always what you hear. Like, believe none of what you see and none of what you hear, I believe the quote is. Because we are connected to the unknown. We are connected to forces beyond us, beneath us, you know. It all depends on whatever you tap into. But in the fourth house, having this Christ energy, it's having that, like, telescope into the ancestry that you come from, the good things, the bad things, the things that need to be developed on, even the behaviors that you have. This does have to do with the behaviors that you have, a Leo, you know. And these behaviors can have been passed down from generation to generation, and now it's up for you to change them. But it involves you diving extremely deep into the mental makeup of the family, into the mental makeup of the whole dynamic, you know. Even if this is, you know, even if you are adopted, you know, you figuring out why. And what I mean by why, I mean by, like, you. What do you possess? And Christ's energy is something that you possess, you know. And I do feel as though, because this is a fourth house, Leo, when the moon is in your moon sign. So, you know, if you're a Leo moon, you know, you could be a Capricorn moon or anything like that. But when it is in your moon sign, refrain from things such as alcohol, sex, anything that indulges with others. Because, you know, try to eat as healthy as possible, say your affirmations, and do things, you know, I wouldn't say out of the ordinary, but spending time in nature, you know, talking to trees, putting your feet in the floor. These are great practices when it comes to alleviating any emotional pain and any emotional barriers, because there's a seed that goes up from our, you know, along our spine through our 33 vertebrates, and it hits our crown chakra. But really, you know, it hits that Christ energy and opens you up to vision, to seeing beyond what what you're being told. And that is truly where you thrive, because this is a house of Scorpio, and Scorpio sees the secrets and sees the things you don't want it to see. And in the year of 2025, it's time for you to activate this energy so that you can heal and you can have a new perspective around it, because you are sacrificing yourself for a higher cause. I do believe, you know, Leo, what I had to realize as well is that in the home, when you choose to merge with something greater than yourself, can be a greater food, you know, it can be greater thoughts, it can be greater exercises. It kind of brings you at a place of feeling lonely, right? A feeling distant from others. And that's where kind of, you know, Pisces comes in, where you feel like you don't belong, you know, to the family that you currently are a part of. And this is because when you choose to change as a person, you're changing the DNA of your ancestors. And sometimes it's like sacrificing different relationships and even, you know, different people within the family to further the lineage. They may not understand because they don't have the insight to understand. And it really takes picking apart the mental formulas and first your own and your own indulgences to see these things clearly, especially about other people's minds, you know? But in the year of 2025, these things become a little bit more clearly, you know, to you when you're able to really sit, look, listen, and observe, and not so much act. So the reason why I say this is because, Leo, you rule over the 5th house. You rule over the 5th house, and your 5th house is in Sagittarius. And you have the High Priestess. Like, Leo, your intuition is on point. Your connection to the divine is on point on the year of 2025. You are a vessel. You are open for Goddess. You are open for God in order to receive. Really, your spiritual body is activated. Even if it wasn't activated in the previous years, in the year of 2025, it gets activated for you. And you start to realize, like, I am the High Priestess. I am the sun. I am something other than I thought for a long time. Your third eye is activated. And the High Priestess is really someone who carries wisdom that is not learned by people. Well, that is not learned in school, but is learned by the actions of life, their experiences of life. And people teach us these things, right? Other beings teach us these things. But sometimes, like, knowledge just comes and you just know knowledge for this year of the year 2025. That you feel as though, like, wow, like, you know, Mother Goddess really came to bestow this information on me. Like, I'm extremely blessed, you know? And you start to bless other people with secrets, you know? And I mean by secrets, I mean secrets of the universe, with things that are hidden to us, things that are not just fully known out in the open. You start bringing those things to the light and expressing yourself in those ways, Leo. And expressing yourself in that way to your children and whomever you're dating, and your self-expressions become in the 2025 of the High Priestess. This is extremely grand, you know, for you, because your voice becomes a voice of healing, you know. It becomes the voice of the master. And I wouldn't even say the master. I would say it becomes the voice of the teacher, because these are experiences that we go through. You know, when we become the High Priestess, and we're able to teach and preach about them so that other people can learn from them, you know, can see what you have learned from them. The 5th house is really teaching you that this year, but also how to let it move you in a way where it lets you be creative and your inner child is expressed. I just love this so much for you, Leo. I love this so much for you, Leo, because, you know, the 5th house is you, and being able to express yourself in ways that, you know, Mother has bestowed on you, your ancestors have bestowed on you. It's grand, you know, and you not having to sit down and taught this, but you actually probably going to the Akashic records, because you're talking about the Pisces, right, and Sagittarius. So probably going through cultures and overseas to be able to now start saying these things that move other people. And your 5th house, actually 6th house, is in Capricorn. Yes, 6. Always want to make sure I'm right. Let me see the name. Okay, and your sixth house. So the sixth house is the house of health. You have the Nine of Wands, excuse me. It's a house of health, you know. It's the house of work. It's the house of pets. It's the house of our duties, and also how we service the world. And so for you in the year of 2025, there can be some pushback, you know, delay when it comes to making choices about your career, when it comes to serving the world. You know, in all reality, Leo, you know, it feels as though I'm close to it. I'm close to getting the job that I want. You know, I'm close to doing the things that I want. But these, you know, these times, especially, you know, Saturn moving signs this year too, and this house being ruled in Capricorn, Saturn going into Aries, this really is going to promote you to work hard for your dreams, you know, to be resilient, to be mentally stable, you know, in a way, and mentally disciplined, to show up as an authority, even when you have to work harder than others, even when you have to have faith in things you can't even see. You even have to have faith in voices that just talk to you from a distance. You know what I'm saying? Even if you have to have faith in yourself, you have to have that blind faith and resilience to get anything done during this year, because it will happen. And you will feel like, oh my goodness, I'm so close, I'm so close, I'm so close. It's not that you're so close, you're progressing, Leo. Start thinking as the actions that you take as progression that is leading you towards a bigger and grander plan, because the sixth house is about how we service the world. It's about our pets, you know, and it is about the things that we care for deeply. And you know, having to, I wouldn't say having to sacrifice, but I would say having to put things on pause, and having to, I guess, having to sacrifice things for the grander picture, but not sacrificing yourself, sacrificing this idea that it will happen right now, you know, this second, and not you know, the idea of long-term success. And when we say long-term success, this doesn't mean 25 years. That doesn't mean 30 years. It means that the longer that you focus on it, the longer that your success will last. That is just what it is. Because Leo, this house is ruled by Capricorn. Capricorn is long-term success. In the year of 2025, Capricorn Pluto just moved out of Capricorn into your 7th house now. But it was rearranging, you know, your day-to-day habits, trying to get you to see that the more resilient that you are, the more success that you will get when it comes to anything in your life. Mental, when you're disciplined, when you stay sticking to the plan. Okay, you become a master of whatever you create, and there's no longer need to fear anything. Need to fear a boss, need to fear that people know more than you, need to fear anything. There is only a need to address your power and how you can use it, and how you can use it to help others. And sometimes it takes time. You cannot rush awakenings. You cannot rush anything into your body, especially light codes that you are not yet ready for, Leo. And the year of the 2025, the more that you stand in your power and stand in your truth, the more that your vessel will be ready to receive these light codes. And because this is the house of work, and you know, even if you're on the verge of giving up, please don't. And I do feel like in the second that you even try to give up is the second that, you know, you really start to realize, like, wait, what makes me different from the others? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I succeed and they wouldn't? And the more that you decide to indulge in those types of things, the harder that it takes to get to where you need to go. Sagittarius here, you must have a bigger than life attitude. And Capricorn, you must remain serious and diligent about the things that you wish to truly create, because Capricorn is the GOAT, as I said, when it comes to mastering opportunities, when it comes to accomplishments. It will accomplish. Do not give up, Leo. Okay? And so moving into the 7th house, that is Aquarius. In the year of 2025, we need some cooperation from you, Leo. We need some cooperation from you, Leo. Work with me. If you are in a partnership, please work together with your partner. Well, because in well, in Vedic astrology, we have the North Node moving into Aquarius in the year of 2025, and then K2, which is the South Node, moving into Leo in 2025. And the reason why I bring up Vedic astrology is because, the North Node is going to be in Aquarius. So this is going to involve, the North Node in Aquarius is a pretty strong thing, pretty strong placement, because, this aspect really shows us that, well, not aspect, this placement really shows us that we have power within our own identity. We have power within our own mastery, within our own structures. It's truly how we use our power, And what I'm saying is, like, you need to work together with your partner, combining power, because K2 is going to be in your first house, and K2 is K2 is ruled by Scorpio, and it likes to dive in deep, to do the nitty-gritty, but it also likes to stir up, chaos and stir up conflict, you know what I'm saying? But it's a very, very spiritual awakening that happens to you, Leo. And as this is happening to you and your partner, if you are in a relationship, and if you are not, this can be a business partner, this can be something, whoever, this can be someone coming into your life as well, because K2 does bring people into your life. So does North Node. K2 can bring those chaotic people, but North Node, which is your relationship house, they can bring someone who you see as God into your life, and you're like, oh my goodness, godly. And if you have someone that like that already in your life, Leo, because this can be existing as well, this is the Two of Cups. Work together. Shared understanding of whatever needs to be accomplished, of even the whole relationship, of even communicating together, like whatever is happening between you two. There needs to be some type of shared understanding, shared communication. Focus on the beauty of the unionship, growing it spiritually. That is the goal in the 2025. It is not more so about buying your partner a car, or even a gift, even if it's thoughtful. It's more so like, let's go to this retreat. Let's go ahead and drink this ayahuasca. Let's go to this yoga retreat. Let's go do things that are going to expand us mentally, physically, and spiritually as a whole. What I'm saying as a whole, I'm meaning bringing them two together, but also individually, because Aquarius is individual, still being a part of a whole. What can we both do? And so moving into your eighth house of Pisces, we have the Six of Pentacles. And this is about giving and receiving. The more that you give, the more that you receive. And because this is a house of Pisces, well, this is the house of Scorpio, but it's ruling over Pisces. You are the giver naturally, Leo. You naturally love to give, especially when it comes to finances, right? You financially like to provide for others, especially for your family members. Leo risings normally cannot understand how people don't get up and try to do the things that they are passionate about, or they don't have passion to do some things, right? And for the year 2025, because this is the year of gains, this is the year of gains, yes, for you, Leo, but this is the house of loans. This is the house of debts, inheritances, the money that we borrow from other people, like the money from the matrix and things of that nature. And it's also about going beyond and deep underneath the surface to see where these things come from, where do these things, stem from, and what is the truth, behind these things. And when I say giving and receiving, because this is also the house of giving, when it like charity work, listening to. This is the house of the therapist. This is the house of counseling. And so seeking any type of support when it comes to like feeling more balanced and feeling more complete when it comes to your psychological makeup. the more that you give, the more that you feel, because Pisces is all too like a charity sign. It's the more that you give, Leo, the more that you feel internally fulfilled. But you'll see the more that you give, the more that you shift the minds of people, and it shifts the minds of them, and it transforms them just because you appear to them in a way. You offer them some type of advice. You offer them some type of service, a place where they can grow internally. And this doesn't have to be physical too. A place where they can grow internally. And even when it comes to getting stuff from the government, if the government owes you something, you will get it in the year 2025, Leo. If anyone owes you something, you will get it in the year 2025. But it is about the shared wealth, though. It is not so much always about receiving, but about giving from a selfless place. Is where you truly receive, I do think. It's like you sharing this wisdom when it comes to finances, Leo. You could have found out something that can help a lot of people, with their finances, or can help them in their shared wealth, or with you and your partner. If you have a partner, your shared wealth increases when you're able to do these charitable things, such as giving and receiving, offering wisdom, because we're talking about Pisces, offering financial support if you can, offering stability in a way, and I will feel as though stability is bringing peace to the mind. Okay. And then we have the 9th house of Aries. Okay. And Leo, we have justice here. And this is the house of fairness, I do think, because it is the house of culture, traveling, the higher self, the higher knowledge, what we can learn in this life for evolution. This is the house of evolution, the phoenix, teaching. And if there's any type of case that you have, which has to do with like justice system, courts, that is overseas or anything like that, or visas like passports or anything that has to do with traveling, in the year of 2025, you will finally win. And what I mean by win is like you feel like everything goes your way, and it goes your way because you are the one, right? This is the house ruled by Aries. It's like, I am that I am. And because I became this, I am now the truth. I am the truth. I can now see through things. I'm seeking justice in a way that is universal. It's for all. But this is what sparked my me. So for you, Leo, in the year of 2025, I need you to voice anything that does not seem right, but not in an aggressive way, in a way that promotes a positive attitude, Leo, in a way that has fairness, clarity, brings clarity to other people's minds, not in any aggressive way or in any way to turn people off or any selfish type of talk. No, because your higher self is really it's bestowing you with this truth, this knowledge. It's like divine truth, divine knowledge, divine justice to bring order to something in your life. Now, because I said this is a house of evolution, this is you understanding that you live on this earth realm, right? You live on this earth realm. And though there is a universal sense of justice, there is a earth sense of justice too. Not what you think is right is always right. Not what I think is right is always right. And that's when it comes to us evolving and us changing, right? And us being more truthful to ourselves and to others. And I do think with integrity, with the right cause, Leo, you have the capability to speak a lot of, your higher self has the ability to speak a lot of life into you and over you, getting you to transform the way you see your life. And this is the 11th house. This is the Tower. This is fearing of change, This can be fearing of changing your friend groups, fearing of changing, where you live. It could be fear of changing mental formulas. Because the 11th house is ruled over this is the 10th house, not the 11th house, the 10th house. There could be a fear of changing your like I said, your friends, your bosses, changing directions in life. There is a something that happens in the year of 2025 where you're just irritated and you're like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm doing something else. I'm doing something that is what other people don't normally do. It's kind of taking like the road less traveled and building from the ground up. We're talking about Taurus, you having to plant those seeds of change. And sometimes in the midst of tragedy, because, well, I won't say through the midst of tragedy, not tragedy. Because Uranus is in Taurus, right? And Uranus is a sign of spontaneity, and it's a sign of things just erratically happening. Something could erratically happen within your workplace where you start to see that you no longer want to work there anymore, right? You no longer want to deal with this. You can do things by yourself. And also, Leo, even if it's not the workplace, this can be your life path changing. You completely changing what you wanted to do in the year 2024, or even 5 years ago. And this comes directly from the source. This comes directly from your higher self. This comes directly from the truths that you're telling yourself. And it may seem like tragedy, it may seem like chaos, because Taurus is a fixed sign and it doesn't want to change. It doesn't want to shift. It's comfortable doing the same routine, because in this same routine, there is stability, right? You can expect, you don't have to expect the unexpected. This wouldn't happen if, we were stable, if we kept things the same. But having to move you a little bit to see that, maybe you don't want to do this as your life path. Maybe you want to change it a little bit more. Okay. And then we have the 11th house of friendship, of coming together. And that is the 10 of cups. So there's a lot of celebrations. And this can be within the home, Leo, as well. This could be in children, you celebrating them. They could have won a game. They could have won something. You could be celebrating a wish coming true, a long-term goal coming true. You can be celebrating your older sisters or older brother or any older siblings advancement, whatever they're celebrating, you're celebrating. There's a peaceful coexistence that you feel with others within your home, within your social environment. There's social gatherings that you attend where you feel this sense of unity and you feel happy, you feel this this familiar presence, of fun, of celebration. And I do think that through the celebrations, it brings you closer to people and what they think and what their minds, do on a day-to-day basis. And in my opinion, this is great, right? But it also kind of makes you see what you don't want. Like if you have to coexist with something, sometimes it's, you can love it, but not be in love with it. And that can be people, places, and things. In the year of 2025 for you, Leo, because this is a house of Gemini, this is meeting different people. This is meeting different social networks, soul family, But even if it is family that is not chosen, sometimes we have to coexist with them and we have to let them go as well, right? Because Gemini can get along with anyone and anything and talk about anything and anyone. So, the 12th house is Cancer. Mars is going to be in Cancer as well. Jupiter is also going into this sign as well in the year 2025. And you have the 5 of Cups. And in this house, this is a house of sorrow. This is a house of our deep emotional attacks, our psychological wars, or our subconscious wars, more to put it better, the relationship that we have to ourselves that is unhealthy, that requires healing. That is healthy, that old soul that exists within us, and even our ancestry, our ancestors, our spirit guides. And because Jupiter is going into this sign, Jupiter is going to bring up everything that must be healed within your emotional body and making you feel good about them for a while. But as it goes back and forth into retrograde in the year 2025, you start to see that you can't always feel good. You can't always indulge to feel good, Leo. You can't always feel like you didn't lose something when you lost something. You can't always feel like you shouldn't grieve something when you are grieving. And, you know, us just coming to terms with this understanding or this understanding. And sometimes it's only an understanding because you can't move from the pain. It really requires someone or requires a higher force to help you move from this, right? And so there is a sense of having to let go of the sorrow to alleviate and to feel better about the choices that you can make in life. But it comes through the space of sorrow, because you're grieving a version of you that does not exist. You're grieving emotions of you that doesn't even really belong to you, Leo. And that's all that I have for the year of 2025. So I hope that was helpful, Leo. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please. And if you can share this video with someone, that will be great for me. In the year 2025, I'm trying to grow my channel. And because I'm a Leo sun, you should just do it out of the sun's wish, because we all are sun children. I will love you forever, Leo. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.